yearly lows. British Petroleum topped the active list on 10.7 million shares, down 4 5/16. The oil stocks have been under pressure, but in addition, British Pete stock today was ex-dividend 57 cents a share. State Street down 4 full points. It was added to the Standard & Poor's 500, replacing Bell Atlantic after the close today. General Electric hard hit off 3 3/8, stock that's had big moves up, and so profit-taking, obviously not surprising. A new issue, TV Azteca. This is the second largest television broadcaster in Mexico. It went public today, 29 million American depository shares, $18.25 the initial price. Did well. It opened at 19.5, and that was the high of the day. Micron Technology continuing to fall off 2 1/4. Coca-Cola down 1 5/16. Another new issue, SL Green Realty. This is a real estate investment trust, and 10.1 million shares offered at 21 today, opened at 25, the high, 25 3/8, did pretty well. Bay Networks up 15/16. Walmart edged up 1/16. A big percentage loser of the day, Pep Boys, falling 6 1/16. The problem with Pep Boys stock today, second quarter earnings lower, 47 cents versus 49 last year, and sales were flat. The company said it was extremely disappointed, and so were analysts at Merrill Lynch, Everett Securities, and Lehman Brothers, all of them who downgraded the stock. Columbia HCA moving up 1 1/8. The Wall Street Journal reported today Health South made a $45 a share buyout bid last month, but it received no response, but still is interested in buying some major parts of Columbia. Eastman Kodak, the only gainer in the Dow Industrial Average, up 1/4. IBM certainly wasn't one of the gainers in the Dow, off 3 3/4. Norfolk Southern, it was the rails that caused most of the 30.5-point loss in the Dow Transport Index today. Procter & Gamble down 7 7/8, the biggest point size loser in the Dow. And Sears had a rough day, off 3 1/4. Sealed Air, a star of the day, up 6 3/4. Positive reaction for the company's plan to merge W.R. Grace's packaging business into its operations for $5 billion in stock and cash. Grace stock itself moved up 3 3/4. Oppenheimer Capital moved up 2 3/8 after Smith Barney upgraded it from neutral to buy. Beijing Yanhua Petroleum and Jilin Chemical, which had big gains in the last 2 weeks, coming off on heavy profit-taking. The two big percentage losers of the day besides Pep Boys. Gillette down 4 5/16 on that earnings warning, and also Donaldson, Lufkin, Merrill Lynch, and Bear Stearns all cut earnings estimates. Reader's Digest down 1 1/8. A fourth quarter loss posted today, 22 cents in the red versus earnings of 42 cents last year, and revenues fell 9% from last year. NASDAQ trading down 24.66 for the week. That index fell 36.49 points, or 2.3%. Volume 540 million down from yesterday. For every 16 stocks higher, 24 lower. The high techs were pretty hard hit today. Intel off 3 3/4, Microsoft off 3 3/8. Dell Computer bucked the trend, up just over a point. Applied Materials, however, down 3 3/16. Cisco dropping 2 1/4. 3Com off 1 9/16. McAfee Associates down 3 1/4 points. The company says tough pricing competition may result in a slowdown in its historic earnings growth rate. Ascend Communications down 5/16. Oracle dropped 2 1/8, and Sun Microsystems down 1 3/4. Geron Corporation up 7 1/2 points. The company says it's cloned a gene that can potentially be used to fight cancer. DSP Technology up over 3 points. Second quarter earnings of 21 cents, better than double 10 cents last year, and sales up 23%. Healthcare Holdings dropped 1 7/8 after posting a second quarter loss of 33 cents versus earnings of 18 cents last year. The Alex Brown brokerage downgraded it from buy to market perform. The American Exchange Index down 4.88 for the week. It dropped 10.64 points. Trading volume 21.2 million shares. For every 2 stocks higher, 3 were lower. Standard & Poor's depository receipts reflecting that rather large drop in the S&P 500. It was off nearly 24 points, down almost 3 points there. Finally, Keystone Heritage Group did well, up 11 full points. Fulton Financial has offered to buy this company out for 1.8 shares of Fulton stock. Today, that's worth about $49.50 for Keystone shareholders. And finally, Saba Petroleum down 1 point. Second quarter earnings lower, 5 cents down from last year's 8 cents. That's our Wall Street wrap-up, Linda.
Well, Paul, 16 months after it was announced, the Bell Atlantic-NYNEX merger has finally closed. And after unveiling the new Bell Atlantic logo, the company's chairman and vice chairman told New York Bureau Chief Scott Gervey that closing took longer than expected.
No, I thought we would be closed by April. The time that it took in Justice and the FCC, now that it's over, is worth it.
What's going to be different from the customer's point of view? What are we going to start to see?
Well, both of us have been ramping up over the past year to do some things differently in terms of accelerating the deployment of high-speed lines, second lines, new features, and things of that nature. In the shorter term, we'll put some sizzle around the new name. James Earl Jones will surface. We'll do a brand change. We'll do more segmentation of our market, so we'll give customers more choices of some of the products that we offer, and then we'll start rolling out new things beginning in the fall.
You've also said that a big growth area is the long distance, biggest single chunk of the potential new market for you.
That's right.
How is that coming now? You've got to sum up the regulatory problems, the competitive problems. Where do you see?
Well, first of all, let me size the market. There's $20 billion in this new company. We think that we can take 25% of that market because we can offer packages that no one else can. There's 50% of all of the international traffic begins and ends in our territory to Europe. Another statistic that sizes the market, 50% of all the long distance of that 20 billion begins and ends in our territory. So you begin to see that we can use our network in a most efficient and effective way. And so we think that this market is worth an awful lot to us. Revenue growth will accelerate the moment we get into it.
We have to file what the regulators call applications to them to receive permission to enter long distance. Our goal would be to file those applications in at least 2 states before the end of '97 this year. And it would take anywhere from 4 to 6 months for that to work its way through. And we're looking for approval for us to enter the business sometime in the middle of '98.
And you're prepared for the challenge of AT&T and others into the local business?
They're already in our market. So there's a lot of talk about whether or not there is a lot of local competition. Every day you wake up and you read about the MCI now entering New York. Before that, you had RCN and UCN, and you had Cablevision opened up service in Long Island to offer local service. So it's coming.
You talked a little bit about some of the state commissions. You had a rough time in some of them, talking about service and repair issues.
This new company will provide the best service in the industry by the testimony of the customers, or we will fail. This was my #1 stake in the ground. It was the very first meeting I had with the joint teams of NYNEX and Bell Atlantic, and I made that very clear. Not only will we set these high objectives based on customer requirements, not internal measures or regulatory requirements, not only will we set them, we will tie them closely to compensation.
It is accretive, it's positive in terms of employment,
Yes.
and it is accretive to the shareholders right away, isn't it,
Yes, it is.
merger? And that makes it very unusual.
Yeah, it is. It's really a perfect match, and it was worth 16 months of arduous labor in the regulatory vineyards.
If there's a byline to that, while it was frustrating to go for 16 months for approval, the other side of that coin is, if I can just put the perspective around, 16 different federal agencies weighed in on this. So if there's ever been a merger that has passed the scrutiny of all the different groups, this is it.
And do you expect this guy to succeed you a couple of years down the road?
Yes, I expect that Ivan will take over the CEO job about a year from now, and the chairman job at the end of next year.
Very good. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Monday, a look at the ongoing turmoil in Southeast Asian currencies.
Good evening. The dollar is the world headline topic. Local stocks had a rough day. Let's start with a look at the non-U.S. Volatile Japan was up last night, but the currency speculators attacked Hong Kong. The Hang Seng was even uglier in the aftermarket. A trader called it pure carnage. Germany was down. Amsterdam got raped. Currency has been the focus all week. A holiday closed France and much of Europe. Those same currency, inflation, interest rate fears also hit the UK. And Mexico resisted, but the Bolsa ended down. Turning quickly to local issues, Ashton used to be an $8 stock, more new lows today. On Thursday, Bionics traded above 30. Merrill Lynch downgraded Crown Cork. DuPont announced a huge headquarter renovation project. Volatile Kenzie Nash dropped hard. SunGard announced a 2-for-1 stock split. Viro Pharma has a new 5+% holder, and Wilmington Trust was up. In other Delaware Valley business news, today's only new high was Kulik and Sofa. Kulik and Sofa closed at 44 5/8, up 7/8 for the day. From Wilmington, I am Dave Blaskovitz.
Brought to you in part by Mainline Today and Delaware Today magazines, regional lifestyle magazines that know your area, on newsstands now.
My guest market monitor this week is Louis Ehrenkrantz, the founder and president of the New York-based brokerage firm Ehrenkrantz-King-Nussbaum. Welcome back to Nightly Business Report, Louis.
Thank you.
You picked a fine day to visit us here.
My luck.
The second worst point size decline in the Dow Industrial Average ever, 247 points. What do you think was the major trigger for this sell-off?
The trigger for the sell-off is the same thing that has been fueling this kind of sell-off for a number of days. The realization, of course, that you can't have a business recovery, a smooth stock market, and moderate inflation. It just doesn't go together, and it's a bad mix and a bad fantasy.
Do you think that the Federal Reserve at the Federal Open Market Committee meeting next Tuesday will boost in light of what you're saying?
Well, I don't think Mr. Greenspan wants to throw oil on a fire. I mean, he worries about things like that. I think there will be one more boost sometime before the end of the year. If not this time, certainly next time.
Getting back to the market itself, the momentum of this sell-off was tremendous. I mean, we went through 3 century marks in one day. 7,900, 7,800, and 7,700, wound up at 7,694. Do you think this type of thing can continue into early next week?
Yeah, I think the Dow can continue dropping just as it continued rising earlier in the year. It's a natural reaction to an exuberant buying spree.
Yes, we've heard that. Overexuberance, as a matter of fact. Do you think that this type of scenario spells trouble for the very popular index fund holders?
Most definitely. I think what's going on now is not a death knell for the market, but it's a death knell for this market. The market that was fueled by the Mercks and the Procter & Gambles and the Coca-Colas. All you had to do was buy them when they dipped, and the kind of talk of the Dow, 10,000 by the end of the year or the century or whatever. I think we pay the piper there, but the market will change, and there are other opportunities.
How about for the unseasoned new investor in the stock market? Do you think this type of thing will panic that type of an investor here?
Oh, I think it'll panic the institutional investor and the sophisticated investor. I think it will panic many mutual fund managers. It has already happened. If you can see the closings down 4 1/8, down 5 1/4. But again, I think that all this means is that there's a changing nature of the market, and the investor had best take advantage of that.
So you would be getting out of the big growth stocks, the Coca-Colas, the Procter & Gambles, yes, and getting into what, if anything?
Well, we would be getting into companies that are not well recognized by the market, the secondary companies. The companies that are changing sell at a low price-earnings ratio, and the change is really not understood by investors.
Let's get to specifics here.
Well, I'll give you 2 or 3 examples. Sea Container on the New York Stock Exchange, a very old name. When you look at the description, they lease marine cargo containers. That's not exciting, so $2.15 a share in earnings doesn't mean anything, except that it's now going to become a big entertainment and leisure company. They bought the Orient Express. They own Harry's Bar in London, the biggest.
Okay.
Club 21 in New York. Look for a big move in the stock. I think they'll earn $260 next year. I like Panem Set, over the counter. NASDAQ symbol is SPOT. They've got a spot in the sky. They're a commercial provider of satellite-based communications companies. This is the next technology play, satellite communications. And finally, I think perhaps the biggest move of all is an old line company called General Binding, over the counter, that sells laminating equipment, business machines, business supply. They remind me of the old Gillette. They sell the razor blade and the razors, and here I think the General Binding, which is $30 a share, is just being totally overlooked, although they've been around ever since I can remember. So those 3 stocks, I think, will do very well. And by the way, all 3 were up this week, strangely enough.
Well, last visit was November 8th of last year. Dow 6220, you said a long time before this market's going to top out. We went up 2,000 points. Watkins Johnson at 19, now about 33. Good. Avon Products, 56 to 66. It's been as high as 76. And Comcast UKK Cable down about 2 points. And finally, Reed Elsevier about even. What do we do with those 4?
Well, Watkins Johnson, I think, will go higher. I think it's still undervalued. I think Reed Elsevier, Comcast, both outstanding investments. And Avon Products, I think, will get beyond the 76 that it was.
One word. Bonds yes or bonds no?
Oh, bonds no, and gold no.
Okay. Thanks very much, Lou. My guest market monitor, Louis Ehrenkrantz, president of Ehrenkrantz-King-Nussbaum.
And that's Nightly Business Report for Friday, August 15th. I'm Linda O'Brien. Please be sure to join us at our worldwide website. Paul, have a great weekend.
And the same to you, Linda. I'm Paul Kangas, wishing all of you the best of goodbyes.
Nightly Business Report is produced in association with Bridge, the global financial information company providing real-time and historical market data, analysis, and news. And is made possible by A.G. Edwards, dedicated professionals providing a full range of personalized financial, retirement, and estate planning services. A.G. Edwards, trusted advice, exceptional service. Franklin Templeton, serving investors for over 50 years. Franklin Templeton. And now Mutual Series, investment products distributed by investment professionals. Digital, helping all kinds of businesses, like the American Stock Exchange, protect their information technology investment. Digital, whatever it takes. And by the financial support of viewers like you. Nightly Business Report has a video for anyone who's thinking about investing in stocks. It's How Wall Street Works, winner of the American Film and Video Festival's Blue Ribbon Award. To order by credit card, call 1-800-535-5864.
Good evening, I'm Nancy Carab-Jania with your TV 12 weather update. A scorcher of a weekend coming our way. It'll be a bit uncomfortable. Showers tonight, a muggy 73-degree low overnight. Hazy, hot, and humid tomorrow, and that's pretty much the call for Sunday as well. But hopefully that will be the end of the dog days of summer, and we'll get into more comfortable temperatures by the beginning of next week. Comfortable overnights as well. The forecast is improving.
Hi, I'm Patrick Stoner, the TV 12 film critic. We have a star lineup of shows tonight. You've already got your ticket, so stay tuned.
Tonight on TV 12. At 8, get a full hour of news and business information from Washington Week in Review and Wall Street Week. At 9, it's a celebration of the life and times of Glenn Miller. Remember the music? Remember the good old days? It's coming your way tonight, right here on TV 12.
Because it is a dangerous situation that we're entering upon, because it is 2,000 degrees. A side effect of that is I get to watch so close this wonderful metal, this kind of this orange, hot orange. I'm right there. To me, heritage means a sense of place, a place that has been here since, as far as I'm concerned, infinity, and to know that I'm a part of that. What my father contributed to my life as it is now is a firm foundation about appreciation of Pueblo life and what we have here. I love process. I really love to know why things happen, why people think the way they do, and for some reason PBS gives me a lot of that. When I first received this stone, it was pretty flat and gray actually, and I had to sit with it for about a month before I could really carve into it. It told me that it wanted to be what it is, so we're in partnership. It's usually what the stone wants is what I do. The quality in production appeals to me because of its high creative value. And I always know when I watch something on PBS that someone took the time and effort and heart to produce such a program. The programs require integrity and trust. I think PBS every day takes a risk and trusts that the work they're doing is going to have some kind of a good effect on people. I owe everything to the people who were born before me, my relatives, people who kept both the Tiwa and Tewa traditions alive, so I have to live a good life for them.
Enjoy the ever-popular Wednesday nights at the Art Museum with a special WHYY discount. 2 admissions for the price of 1 with your WHYY member card each Wednesday night in August. The theme on the 6th is John Coltrane. On the 13th, it's Chow. August 20th is All Shook Up. And on the 27th, it's Dog Days. The Philadelphia Museum of Art is yours to explore on Wednesday nights. For tickets and information, the number is 215-763-8100.